Hey, 49ers fans! Today, we're diving deep into everything happening with our San Francisco squad, breaking down the moves, the challenges, and the questions that matter most as we look ahead to the next season. It's been an interesting stretch for the team, and while there's been some speculation about big-name signings and adjustments on the roster, it's crucial to step back and evaluate what the 49ers truly need to stay competitive and push for a championship run. The team has had moments of brilliance, and there are areas where progress is noticeable, but there's also room to make strategic improvements that could pay huge dividends over the course of the season. One of the major talking points lately has been the potential upgrade at center. There's been chatter about bringing in a big-name signing like Tyler Linderbaum, someone who has impressed across the league with consistent performance in both run blocking and overall line play. Linderbaum's ability to create movement in the run game and contribute to a stronger, more stable offensive front would be a welcome addition. While he may not be considered elite in pass protection, his presence could still represent a measurable improvement over the current options. Jake Bindle has shown growth, particularly in terms of reducing penalties and refining his run-blocking technique. But when it comes to pass protection, there's still a noticeable gap compared to some of the league's top-tier centers. Adding a player like Linderbaum would strengthen the interior line and provide the quarterback with more time to make plays. That said, the strategy behind roster moves is always a balancing act. Kyle Shanahan has demonstrated a preference for a mobile quarterback who can escape pressure and extend plays, which may influence how aggressively the team pursues certain line upgrades. It's not just about finding the highest-rated player available. It's about making decisions that align with the system and distributing resources across the roster effectively. Investing heavily in the offensive line might mean less spending elsewhere, so the organization must weigh the trade-offs carefully. The ultimate question for fans isn't necessarily whether a signing will happen, but how it fits into the bigger picture and whether it addresses the team's most pressing needs. Turning to the team's recent playoff run, there's plenty to unpack. The 49ers faced the Seahawks twice and fell short in similar ways. But the narrative isn't entirely negative. Losing in such close fashion can actually provide clarity, highlighting exactly where adjustments are needed. The Seahawks are a formidable opponent, well-funded and well-coached, but the losses expose specific gaps, particularly in the ability to consistently finish drives and convert opportunities in the red zone. Comparisons to the Rams further illustrate this point. While the Rams were able to exploit certain matchups and get the most out of their offensive weapons, the 49ers struggled to create consistent separation and take advantage of their own talent in similar situations. Understanding these differences is key to identifying the moves that will have the greatest impact in the offseason. Brian Baldinger's insights are particularly useful in this context. He pointed out that the core issue lies in the disparity of offensive weapons compared to other top teams. Whereas the Rams and Seahawks have multiple receivers who can consistently create mismatches and excel in high-pressure situations, the 49ers' depth at wide receiver has been more limited, especially when injuries are factored in. The absence of a true number one receiver has had tangible effects on offensive production. Even talented players who can contribute in multiple ways have limitations. And while versatility is valuable, it doesn't always replace the impact of a consistently elite playmaker on the outside. Addressing this gap could dramatically alter the team's efficiency and scoring potential in key moments. In addition to evaluating wide receivers, it's essential to consider the supporting cast across the offense. Brock Purdy has been a steady presence at quarterback, managing the ups and downs of a season impacted by injuries and inconsistent targets. George Kittle, despite some setbacks, remains a critical piece of the puzzle, offering both blocking and receiving skills that few in the league can match. Christian McCaffrey continues to serve as a dual-threat weapon, capable of influencing the game in the running and passing attack. Yet even with these stars, the system relies heavily on role players executing precisely, and gaps in speed, route running, and separation can limit the overall effectiveness of the offense. These nuances highlight why strategic roster additions, rather than just headline signings, are essential to closing the gaps exposed during critical games. Looking at the 49ers' offensive line as a whole, it's clear that a targeted approach is necessary. Upgrading specific positions, whether through the draft or free agency, can create a stronger foundation for the passing game and ensure better protection for the quarterback. The left guard and tackle spots are often discussed as areas ripe for improvement. and adding younger, more agile players capable of developing into long-term starters could provide stability for years to come. Balancing immediate needs with long-term planning is always a challenge, but the potential upside of carefully chosen moves could redefine the team's offensive identity. On the topic of wide receivers, the situation remains intriguing. While Jauan Jennings has proven his value as a reliable, versatile option, there's a growing question about whether he can serve as the top target in the offense. Injuries and limited opportunities have prevented him from fully stepping into that role consistently. Meanwhile, younger players like Ricky Pyle show flashes of potential but have yet to demonstrate sustained impact at the highest level. The 49ers will need to carefully evaluate the talent pool, weighing cost, upside, and fit within Shanahan's system. Finding a receiver capable of consistently creating separation and making explosive plays will likely be a priority, and the draft may offer a promising path to address this need without disrupting the salary structure. Injuries played a significant role in shaping the team's performance last season. Missing key contributors for large stretches of the year forced adjustments that impacted timing, chemistry, and overall efficiency. Despite these challenges, the offense still managed to put together meaningful drives and make playoff appearances, which speaks to the resilience of the roster. However, the pattern of running out of legs late in the season is something the front office must address. Depth, conditioning, and strategic reinforcements will be crucial to sustaining performance over a full slate of games, especially in high-pressure playoff scenarios. Evaluating the broader team context, it's important to recognize the quality already present on the roster. The 49ers feature multiple players who rank among the top at their positions league-wide. These high-level performers provide a strong foundation and offer confidence that the team is well-positioned to compete. While there are areas for improvement, the underlying talent level is undeniable. Strategic additions, whether through draft picks or selective free agent signings, can complement the existing core and elevate the overall performance. The key lies in identifying where the biggest gaps exist and addressing them efficiently to maintain competitiveness. Within one of the league's toughest divisions, the offensive side of the ball, in particular, demands careful consideration. Speed at wide receiver, a stronger interior line, and effective integration of role players are all elements that could transform the offense from good to elite. Players like McCaffrey and Kittle can excel only if the supporting cast performs consistently and the line provides the necessary protection. Balancing these pieces requires both tactical insight and an understanding of how the roster functions as a system. The goal is not just to patch holes but to build cohesion that allows the team to execute efficiently against top-tier opponents week after week. In summary, while speculation about signings and draft moves generates excitement, the focus should remain on the underlying needs of the roster, improving the offensive line, adding a dynamic receiving threat, and ensuring depth across key positions are all actionable steps that could make a substantial difference. The 49ers are in a strong position with a talented core and proven performers, but targeted improvements will be necessary to reach the next level. Every decision matters, from the draft board to free agency strategy, and careful planning now can pay enormous dividends when the games count the most. The team has the pieces to succeed, but aligning strategy, talent, and execution is the real challenge. As the offseason unfolds, continuing with the discussion about the 49ers, it's impossible to ignore how critical the offseason evaluation is for shaping the next campaign. After the playoff losses, it became clear that there are multiple layers to address, both in talent acquisition and in refining how the team executes on the field. The challenges the team faced weren't due to a lack of effort or coaching. Rather, they highlight the importance of depth and flexibility when injuries hit or matchups become tough. It's the players outside the starting lineup who need to step up, and that's where strategic off-season planning comes into play. Understanding which positions are fragile and which can withstand stress is essential to constructing a roster that can endure the grind of a full NFL season. The wide receiver room is a perfect example of this. While players like Jauan Jennings have demonstrated their ability to make clutch plays, the room lacks a consistent, explosive playmaker who can reliably stretch the field. Injuries and missed opportunities have further complicated the picture, and the reliance on backups or unproven players can expose the offense to inconsistency. A player who can consistently beat press coverage and create separation is not just a bonus. In a system like Kyle Shanahan's, it can be transformative. The speed, route running precision, and timing with the quarterback all factor into how effectively the offense can operate under pressure. Adding such a receiver, either through the draft or free agency, would provide a tangible upgrade that could open up the offense and relieve pressure on other key contributors. Another crucial aspect is the offensive line. Protection for the quarterback and creating lanes for the running game are not optional, they are fundamental. The 49ers have strengths on the line, particularly in run blocking, but pass protection remains an area that could use refinement. The interior positions, especially the center, have been the subject of debate. While some suggest bringing in a high-profile signing, it's equally important to consider developing talent internally or through the draft. The ideal scenario balances immediate improvement with long-term sustainability, ensuring the offensive line not only supports the quarterback but can withstand the wear and tear of a demanding season. Line cohesion and communication are just as important as individual talent, which makes off-season planning in this area especially strategic in evaluating the team's overall offensive efficiency. The role of the quarterback cannot be understated. Brock Purdy has demonstrated remarkable resilience in navigating a season filled with injuries and inconsistent targets. His ability to make quick decisions and extend plays under pressure has been a bright spot. But even the most skilled quarterback is limited by the surrounding talent. Timing, spacing, and the ability of receivers to consistently create separation are critical components. In scenarios where those elements are missing, even a talented quarterback can struggle. Therefore, the focus on upgrading both defensive line and receiving cores is not simply about adding names. It's about giving the quarterback the tools he needs to succeed consistently. The running game, anchored by Christian McCaffrey, continues to be a strength. McCaffrey's dual-threat ability to both run and catch passes adds a layer of versatility that few teams can match. He creates mismatches in the open field and serves as a reliable option when other routes are covered. However, even a back of his caliber needs proper blocking and creative play design to maximize effectiveness. The offensive line's ability to maintain pockets and generate push for runs directly impacts McCaffrey's productivity. Additionally, having multiple receiving options who can stretch the field keeps defenses honest, opening running lanes and preventing defenders from keying solely on the backfield. Tight end play also remains a pivotal part of the 49ers' offensive strategy. George Kittle's contributions go far beyond statistics. His ability to block in the run game while still posing a receiving threat makes him invaluable. Yet, injuries and missed games expose the thin margin that exists behind him. Developing depth at tight end and ensuring that backups can perform at a high level is essential to maintaining offensive balance. The combination of elite skill positions with depth in supporting roles creates a more resilient offense that can sustain production even when faced with adversity. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The 49ers are reportedly on the brink of a major roster shakeup, as sources close to the organization suggest that the team could be forced to part ways with some of its biggest stars. According to insiders, General Manager John Lynch has privately admitted that the franchise faces an unprecedented financial crunch, one severe enough that trimming the roster may be unavoidable to stay under the salary cap. The whispers around Levi's Stadium hint at the possibility of 3 high-profile players being shown the door, a move that would send shockwaves through the NFL. While the 49ers have long been known for assembling a roster packed with top-tier talent, it seems that their ambitious approach has come at a steep cost. The team's salary obligations, already stretched thin, appear to have left Lynch and his front office with few options beyond a drastic reset. Sources close to the matter suggest that this financial squeeze isn't just a temporary blip, but rather a symptom of deeper strategic challenges. The 49ers invested heavily in free agency and contract extensions over the past seasons, banking on sustained performance from their star players. However, mounting salary commitments combined with rising league-wide cap pressures have reportedly created a scenario in which tough decisions are unavoidable. Fans and analysts alike are speculating on which players could be affected. The term 3 stars has circulated in insider circles, though identities remain purely speculative at this point. Some pundits believe that the departures could target positions where the team has younger talent ready to step up, while others worry that even cornerstone players might be at risk. the uncertainty has already sparked debate among supporters who are anxious about the balance between maintaining competitiveness and managing financial realities. John Lynch, known for his candidness in press interactions, reportedly acknowledged the severity of the situation behind closed doors. We're facing difficult decisions, he said, according to sources familiar with the conversation. At the end of the day, we have to stay within the rules. And sometimes that means making choices nobody wants to make, while nothing is set in stone. The speculation alone has sent ripples through the league, with rival teams quietly monitoring the 49ers' cap situation for potential opportunities. The next few months could be transformative, marking a critical juncture for a franchise long accustomed to chasing championships with a star-laden roster. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.